Happy Wednesday, y'all. I got Ray coming on tonight. We're going to talk about his land business. Sorry for the delay. I got stuck on a seller call. So last night, if you guys didn't tune into it, we did a live acquisitions challenge, me versus Ajay. It was awesome. We ended up going live. We called a bunch of old dead leads and stuff like that. These were not like good, fresh, cherry picked leads. These were all dead leads that were sitting in people's CRMs, and we called them up, and we ended up locking up. I got 2 verbals, and Ajay got 1 verbal, and we gave him a half a verbal for another one, even though it wasn't actually a contract. But just good to see, like, getting out there and stuff like that, and everybody coming in and hanging out. It was awesome. Cool. So I'm gonna bring Ray on. Ray, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, man? So what do you got going on? Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, where do I start? I have been in real estate for, a couple of years, flipping houses and mobile homes, and just got tired of the renovations, man. So,
I feel you, bro. I feel you.
Yeah. So that's why, started getting into land and came to the last LIA meetup in Las Vegas. So met everyone, and it was some great guys, great energy. So here I am, I still am getting leads for like houses and mobile homes. So my struggle is like just slowing that down so I can focus more on land.
Yep.
But that's what I'm going to do moving forward now. Like my focus is on land now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did. I was stuck for a little while on the houses and all that stuff, and I ended up still doing 6 flips last year, house flips, and I didn't want to, but they were like just too good to pass up. So I ended up doing them anyways. But yeah, you get to the point where you're just like, man, I gotta change some things because they're completely different businesses. I mean, they're the amount of time. Like, how much time would you say you spend on a flip?
Well, on a proper flip, like from acquisition to renovations, I like on average 4 months.
4 months.
It take 4 months.
How much? Like, I mean, how many hours? Like, of your physical hours are you in there?
Well, I wouldn't do the work, so
yeah, I never did either.
But I would say probably like 10 hours a week. Like if I'm really on top of stuff, calling contractors and materials and whatnot on the phone. So 10 hours a week on average for one flip.
Yeah, I average it. I think my average hours is about 300 hours per flip. So from acquisitions all the way to dispositions, from closing table to close. Actually, no. From lead in to closing table on the other end is about 300 hours. So I used to track that, and then I would say, okay, that's how much time I'm putting in to make like 60 grand net after everything. So I'm like,
yeah,
or sometimes even just 60 grand, right? So it's like, man, my effort is not good. My ROE, my return on effort is super low on this, right?
Yeah.
So it does make you think. You're like, man, I could do land. I'm not doing any renovations. I'm not doing anything. Like, I'm getting my ROE is like I can make 60 grand in 4 hours, less than that. And it's like a no-brainer. It really like blows your mind when you start thinking about that. You're like, what am I even doing? I don't get that. So,
right. Yeah. By the way, I thought you would like my shirt.
I do. I know. I noticed that. I'm like, dude, I need that shirt.
Yeah. After the call, send me your size. I'll send you one.
Oh, cool, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I am just like you. I'm addicted to business. So
yeah.
Is this like your full time? Like this is the only thing you do, or what else do you do?
So yeah, for now, like land is going to be my main focus, but I have a social enterprise as well, which is kind of the reason why I want to, build the equity in land, because that's just more of like helping humanity. Cool. So I'm building, a company where like I manufacture health products, and for like all the health products that we sell, we're also like, helping humanity, like providing vaccinations and, critical health stuff around the world. So that's, what I really want to do. But I love real estate, and real estate is a good wealth builder. So, that's my focus for now, until I get after that. But that's what I'm doing. I was also a car dealer before. I had my shop. So
I used to have a dealer license too back in the day.
Yeah.
So buying cars at auctions, fixing them up, selling them.
Yeah. I see a lot of guys, from like the dealer space getting into real estate.
Yeah.
So
Similar aspect, right? It's just buy low, sell high. It's just your old average arbitrage business, right?
yeah,
It's very
yeah,
similar.
yeah,
So
exactly. It's just real estate is a bit slower. Like, that's what I
yeah,
feel because cars are like faster. You just buy it and flip it within a day or two. But with real estate, it takes time.
yep.
Um, so yeah, I'm always into business, always looking for opportunities. I say if I have like 7 clones of myself, that would be great. Like if I had 7 copies of myself,
I
because
always say, I'm
time is
like,
limited.
if I just had like a brother, because I have two sisters, I'm like, if I had a brother, I swear we would have taken over the world at this point, right? But
Yeah.
would he have had the same motivation as me or the same type of drive? Who knows, right?
Right.
It's just
Right.
different.
Yeah.
So your humanitarian stuff, what does that look like? Where do you kind of like put most of your efforts towards
Like on that aspect, or just like generally, like in my business.
on your like humanitarian side, like on that aspect? Like, what's your main focus on that?
So my main focus right now is, building a prototype for my products and designing the packaging.
Okay.
So that's what I want to do. There's a company called Liquid Death, if you've heard of it. They just sell water, but their
No.
marketing is so amazing that it became into a very successful business just because of the
Yeah, I mean,
marketing.
their marketing is insane. I mean, they basically took water and just made it this huge thing. It's just
Yeah.
that their marketing is insane, and they said all these guys are like death metal bands and all this stuff are they're putting all like Rockstar and all this stuff in their drinks, on their like their equipment. Why don't we just do water, like, and make
Right.
it look like an energy drink, make it look like alcohol,
Hmm.
and here you are, right? It's awesome. They're super smart. I
Yeah.
I, I read a couple things about them. They're marketing geniuses, really, in this day and age.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
So
are.
that's kind of like, my spin on it because I took a year or two to like come up with a really like innovative product, but it was just taking a lot of time and with the product you know, design and everything. I said, instead of that, let me make a simple product, make it better, and
Mhm.
focus on the marketing. So Liquid Death, they're doing it the opposite. I want to do it the complete opposite way, where it's like for helping humanity.
That's awesome.
So if I do it, and if it's a great idea, if anyone else does it, the end goal is for
Helping.
social enterprises to help humanity. It's not
Yep.
just about making money. You should always help people as well. So that's my main objective. But real estate is something I love, and I'm always into it. And you always need cash flow, so you can like help your other businesses and their goals. So
Absolutely.
that's where I'm
You
at.
you need a vehicle. You need a vehicle to make money to then go and do the humanitarian stuff. Like you can't just go out there and just expect like you're gonna make money off that stuff because
Yeah.
the day it's not a money maker, and that's why nobody. That's why it's very limited the amount of people that do it.
Right.
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 So that's awesome, man. I like that you're doing that. So are you focusing like when with your land business and other businesses? Are you like collectively taking capital from that and then donating to that kind of effort? Is that kind of what you're looking at doing?
Yeah, so like, I have a separate business account for that. And
Sweet.
then, I funnel, the funds from that to, that bank account. But um, ideally, what I would do is I would fundraise for the social enterprise.
Cool.
So the land business, I just invest back into it,
Mhm.
and try to separate all of them. If I don't have to take funds from one of my business to help the other, that I would prefer that. But it's always good to have your own, if your business is going well, to back up your other one.
Right.
So I always want to be in that position, so that I don't have to like ask, for
Mhm.
help from anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about like you know how to build a house, right? It's all about building a good foundation. If you have a good foundation, you could add whatever you need to it, right? But
Yeah.
if people try to build a house and they just like they put, you know, 2x4s on dirt and the house is going to collapse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing with the business. You got to think about it like that. People are like, well, I could just do this because it makes me money today. It's like, okay, but where's your background? Where's your foundation? Where's all the stuff that you actually need to keep that business going? Because
Mhm.
there's going to be hard times. And if you're not
Right.
braced for that, when the wind blows, a house is going to get knocked down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I see a lot of people coming into this business and throwing stuff on credit cards and doing all this stuff. And it's like, it sounds like it would work for them because they look at other people's KPIs and they're like, I could do this.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, they never built a foundation. They never did one deal. but then they're trying to do 30, 40 deals.
Yeah, it's not realistic.
Yeah, do
Mhm.
one. Okay, you did one, now do two. Okay, do two, now do three. Then it's like, okay, now you could actually start putting some money in it. You have
Right.
proof. Okay, now if you want to get a $20,000 credit card and throw some marketing on it, that's fine because at least you did something. Like you
Mhm.
have some kind of foundation in there, so it makes sense. So,
Right.
um, awesome, man. I love that. So, about your business. So, what does it kind of look like today? Where are you at? What are you doing? When did you get started?
In my land business,
Yeah, your land business.
I'm brand spanking new, man. So,
Nice.
I got tired of my current renovated property. It's still on the market, by the way.
Oh, what
Um,
market?
it's in Ohio, right outside of Columbus.
Okay. Yeah.
So anyway, like that house is still on the market, believe it or
Mm.
not. The
It
market
hurts though.
shifted as winter time, you know. So in that aspect, like one of the things that I've seen like successful entrepreneurs do, and I believe in this too, is where the crowd goes, you avoid that, like go on a
Yep.
separate path. And so I got into mobile homes because it's kind of a niche, and
Yep.
then land is also kind of a niche.
Hmm.
So and the fact that you don't have to like renovate houses, it's just, I mean, I don't like renovating houses. I'm more like, I can talk to people, I can generate leads, that's what I'm good at. But building houses, it's not my thing, dealing with
Hmm.
contractors. So
Yep.
so that's when I just, a week before your LIA meetup, like in Vegas, I just got my ticket. I came out and, met with everyone. And so after that, I said, after January, I'm going to focus on land.
Nice.
So I've been, I got the Zero to Hero program.
Nice.
And so I went through that. And, one thing that I found was if I, combine that with your videos on YouTube, the picture gets clearer. So,
Hmm.
like on market selection, like if I see 5, 6 videos, like I have different examples, then I know, okay, I get a better feel of what I need to do.
Yeah.
And some of the people in the LIA group, they're really helpful, man. Like, I mean, I've
Mhm.
connected with people. They're always, when they have the time, like able to like give me their input.
Yep.
So that's where I'm at. I have, a couple markets that I've selected. I had someone, go through a sell through rate because it was just too much, and
Hmm.
so I just had someone do it for me. And so I have a couple markets now, and where I'm standing now is that, I'm kind of struggling with the homogenous pricing thing.
Okay.
I really don't know what the range should be. I know Sumner said it's like 30 to 40%. Anything like 100 to 200% is too much. But
Hmm.
then, like by acreage range, like it kind of varies, and what kind of qualities a certain parcel of land has, that also plays a factor.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at, to try to
What
really figure it out.
what kind of states are you looking at first to begin with?
I was looking in Virginia, so that's where I'm at.
Okay.
I was looking in Virginia because it's close to me. West Virginia, Oklahoma,
Hmm.
and North Carolina, South Carolina.
Okay.
I still haven't selected market in those, but that's on my radar. And then I also like New York, but I wasn't really sure if New York is a good state to invest in or not. But I still got the data just to look
Yeah.
at.
I mean, I just did my first deal in New York, and it was we bought it for 65, sold it for 125. It was on the market for one day, so
Nice,
and it was a double
nice.
close. So we made 60 grand in one day. It was like wow. But I mean, obviously not one day, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
like it was on the market for one day.
yeah, yeah.
So it's pretty like I was like, wow, okay, New York is not bad. We've
Hmm.
also sent a few other pieces to that area, and we didn't get any leads. Like
Hmm.
Chattanooga or whatever county, I forget what it is, whatever. We sent some mail there, one or two leads. But you know what? I picked that market, and I should not have. The price per acre was too low.
Hmm.
They were like two. They were selling market prices like 2K an acre, right? So purchase price, I got to buy that thing for 1,000 an acre or less to make sense,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So then you're talking about, well, I'm not doing a deal unless it's 40 acres and above. So it just kind of it was a tough market to work. And a lot of the people they want 2K an acre or more. So it's like, okay, this isn't going to work. So got a few
Hmm.
leads from there, but that's about it.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so you're looking at it and you're like, okay, the homogenous pricing is tough. Are you doing a zip code level or are you doing county level?
County level.
So it's tough to get like a whole county price right. It definitely is, right? I mean, there's certain counties that are homogenous. You'll see a lot of those in like Oklahoma, Arizona, things that are relatively flat and
Mm-hmm.
like the land is the same. But if
Yeah.
you're looking at like Virginia, West Virginia, there's a lot of mountains and ranges and things like that that change things like pricing and everything like that. So if you're in West Virginia and you're on like some mountainous area in West Virginia, it's like one area could be 5K an acre, but then you're on the top of the mountain with great views and all this stuff, and you might be 10K an acre.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to break your pricing up based on that.
Mm-hmm.
So when looking at certain areas, like it's really going to be hard to discern that and just say like, okay, I'm just gonna price this whole county. I've done it 1,000 times. It still works. It's just you're gonna get a higher response rate if you could get more granular, right? So if you could just get down, maybe do zip codes or whatever the case may be, or like, we are you in the group coaching program? Do you have like the modules and stuff like that, or not yet?
No, not
No,
yet.
you're in just an idea. Okay, so inside LIA, there's another module that's in there. It's like talking about like going micro, like really getting granular, like looking for subdivisions, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That helps a lot too.
Okay.
So you could do that. Like what I would look at is say, okay, let me look at this county. I see the sell-through rates in the whole county are great.
Mm-hmm.
Are there areas that there's just more sales happening, right? And what zip code is that in? Okay, now let's look at that zip code. All right, what type of sales are happening here? Is it the 10s and the 20s that are selling, the 5s and the 10s, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No one says you have to market to the entire county or every single parcel size. You can just come into a county and just say, I only want the 5s and 10s in this county and walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Just mail them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing too. So when you're doing your market selection, don't always look at it as like overall sales, like everything. Sometimes just look at the granular of what's the sell-through rate for the 5 to 10s, what's the sell-through rate for the 10 to 20s, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Gotcha.
we could review some markets if you want today, or
Yeah, sure.
whatever you want to do.
Sure, why not? So,
I'll let
so
you.
so what you're saying is like instead of county level, you could also like go narrow and be
Yeah,
like a sniper and just go to like one zip code, maybe draw like on the map and see what the pricing is like.
yeah.
Is
So I don't know if you watched. I did a while. It was a long time ago. I did a video with Anthony Reese, and we kind of went in. We did some more granular stuff,
okay.
and he showed what he did. I did it on YouTube. It's probably like 9 months ago at this point.
Okay.
Um, he talked a lot about like how he picks his markets and stuff like that, and it was really really good for people. So check that out.
Okay.
But let me get my screen set up, and we could start. We could look at a few things.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see. Okay, so let me go here. Just close all this stuff. All right, so let's just say, do you want to give me a county and I'll look it up real quick?
Let's see. Let's go to Orange County, Virginia.
Okay, cool. So let's just go. I'm just using Redfin just because it's easy right now.
Okay.
Just look at this. Just go land. So one thing you could look at too is like you could say, I only want to make like, what's your minimum profit per deal? Do you want to make? Do you have like an idea on that yet or not yet?
Minimum profit, I would like to stay like around 20.
Okay. So if you're going to stay around 20, you don't want to buy a deal. Like if market value of a deal is like 50K or less, you're going to have a hard time making 20K per deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what that tells you there is you only want to look in areas that have a market price that's going to be higher than 50K. So if you see like a lot of 30K deals selling, it's probably not a market you want to be in, right? You probably want to stay away from that because it's not really where you're not going to make your spread, right?
Gotcha.
So let's just do here. Let's do 3 to 10 acres just to see what's going on in this area. So we could already see here, like this county overall, I mean, there's sales here, a ton of sales here, a couple sales here, but like a lot of stuff, not so much here, and the larger stuff, the 3 acres plus. So, and you can see right here, like this right here, there's a ton of sales in just one specific spot. So what this tells me is there's probably, see a subdivision. Somebody did like a minor subdivision. So when you look at this right here, this is like one little subdivision. This probably accounts for like 50% of the sales for the year in this market, right? There's 7 homes here. And this overall market has sold 33. Okay, so not really. It's like 10%. I mean, like 20% of the sales are in one specific area. But you could kind of look in this and see there's different pockets over here. Like there's demand over here because these have just sold. So what I'll do too is I'll look at this. I'll look at zip codes. I'll look at all that stuff. But I also go here. I actually just want to look at the deal, like when it sold, how long it took to go pending. So right here, this is a great sign. See how this went listed and then it went pending in 3 days? That's great. Like that right there to me is like, oh my God, there's so much demand, right? If you had a flip that you just put on the market and it went pending in 3 days, wouldn't you be stoked?
Yeah, of
You'd
course.
probably go buy like 20 more houses in that
I want
area,
another
right?
one. Yeah.
Exactly. So I look at that a lot. I'm like, okay, how fast is stuff going pending in an area? And then I'll kind of hone in on that, right? So obviously there's demand for this type of lot. This one doesn't show when it went pending, but it's still sold in less than 45 days. It definitely went less than it should have, right?
Yeah.
But still not bad. If you just take that into account, 16K an acre, it's still good. Price it right. Let's see this one. That's a public record sale, so we don't know what it actually like how long it was on the market for. So if we look at this, actually no, yeah, we're good. So March 1st, it went pending in 3 days again. So like right here, you pick up a 3-acre lot in this like area right here, you're gonna probably do pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like you could come in here and just say like, here, I could just grab a polygon in this area and pull out just the parcels in this area. This went contingent in like 20 days. Still really good, right? That's great.
Yeah.
This is here, 4.7. May 9th, June 7th, still like went contingent pretty dang quick. But you can see it probably slowed down because the price point, it's over like that 100K. Over 100K, it does slow down a touch just because there's how many people have 100 grand just sitting around to buy that. Yeah, so this is 22, less than 30 days. That's great. This is, if I see a lot of these deals are going, like 50% of the deals, if they go and pending in less than 30 days, that's a home run.
Yeah.
So, all right, so here we go. So we got 22, 5, 6, 7. So you could just look at just this one zip code and just see, here's the zip code alone. Let's see what type of land has been going in this area. Okay, so we've only had, oh, that's the one that had that subdivision. So actually, I want to go back because I want to look at the other ones. These that had a bunch of sales. Let's get this zip code, 22. Home type, land, great. Oh, it is the same zip. Okay. So it's just not showing it. But yeah, I'll look at that and I'll say, okay, there's how many sales in this area. Let's see sold in the last 1 year. See how many sales are just in this one area? 36 in just one zip code. If I change my lot size, let's go to 3. Let's go to 2 actually, because 2 you're still going to make some money. Let's go 2 to 10 and see we got 25 in one zip code last year. And then let's check for sales. How many are for sale? There's a couple. So still this guy's trying to sell that subdivision, but this whole market, this had super high demand, right? A lot of people wanted land over here. It was going pending so quick. But look, there's 0 for sale. So you scoop up a lot over here and you go ahead and you list that baby for, what the market deems necessary, like 16K an acre.
Yeah.
You're going to sell it quick. You know what I mean? So this is kind of what, like, if you're just getting into this, this is kind of what you could be doing. It's like taking that county, looking at it from higher level and then saying, okay, where can I get smaller? How can I get smaller? How can I get smaller? And then go into here and I could just say, okay, last 1 year, I've had all these. Excluding this guy, because he's got a whole bunch of subdivisions, I would say just, right of the 527, 572, whatever the heck that is, just right of that, I would look for any land in here, pull some data.
Yeah.
What you can get. Right. And then you could go, and relatively, I mean, we could look at this here. Let's do this too. Do you have Land Insights or no?
No, I don't have it yet,
No
but
worries.
I'm hearing some great stuff about it.
It's awesome, man. I mean, to pull into here and like I can just pull this up here. I'll drop this here. This is what I love about it is all right. So here's that zip code we were just talking about.
Hmm.
So this is what's cool about it. See these comps? I could just come in here and I could just look at what the price per acre is. So I mean, we got a big like variance, but here, let me adjust this. Let's put 2 acres to 10 acres. Okay, perfect. So you got 16K, 23K, 23K. It does kind of change a little bit. When you go south over here, it goes down a little bit.
Hmm.
You got 27K for a 3K and 3 acre. You know, and it's the same thing. Remember, like when you get smaller, your price per acre goes up, right?
Hmm.
So you just kind of look at that. A lot of them are selling below 5K is selling for like below 5 acres is selling for like 23K an acre.
Hmm.
So you could probably come in here, you know, pull this data and probably do pretty dang good. You know, like if I were to just go,
What do you think about this pricing? Is this homogeneous, like in this zip code?
if you go zip code wise, yeah, it looks pretty homogenous. That's what I
That's
was
what I thought.
saying. Like based on like I see a lot of like 23K an acre.
Hmm.
That to me is like that's relatively homogenous. It's
Yeah.
not going to be um you're never going to find something that's where every parcel is exactly the same, right? It's
Yeah.
very very rare, but
Hmm.
you just got to be close, right? All right, so let's see. Let's go 2 to 10. All right, so there's 750 parcels in the 2 to 10 range in this one little zip code area, right?
Hmm.
So I just moved it, messed it up, but so let's just say you do end up pulling that, right? You got 700, 519, whatever it is. I moved it, so that's where it was, right? Okay, there you go. 601, whatever the number is. 600 parcels. Now, if you could get in here, you could pop out, you know, you get this pricing good, like you get it really priced out well. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't be able to pull at least one deal out, right? Pull a deal out of there and then do the same thing. Go find another pocket in a pocket and just like another market, find the zip code, find sales. Let me see if I could grab something over here. Let's see what this is. So you got 600 right here. So um, there's not to say like you can't go in here and pull the whole county and then price it differently. But let's just say for this, for instance, so right here, these are selling relatively the same too. Um, hey, what's up, all? Hey, K, what's up? So these are selling relatively the same too. 23K, 23K, about 20, you know, 24, 25, 26. So pretty close.
Yeah.
About 5K an acre goes down a little bit. Mm-hmm. Here's another 20K. So you might even be able to go a little past the zip code level and still do all right.
Yeah.
But then you check out anything near the water. Look how much it's selling for. You got 92K an acre, 45K an acre, 59K an acre. You know,
Hmm.
this is why if you were to price this whole thing as one county, these would come up, and so would the 16K an acre. So you have a 90K an acre and a 16K an acre. It's going to tell you price everything at 50K an acre.
Hmm.
Guess what's going to happen? You're going to overprice everything that's not near a lake, and you're going to underprice everything that is near the lake.
Right.
So your whole data set's going to be skewed because
Hmm.
of that. So you're going to have to go a little bit more granular on it. Now, looking at like if we go back to Land Insights itself, and we were to say, let's look at zip code levels. Oops. Where are we? So let's see. What was the county? What county was that originally?
Orange.
Orange. Okay. So here I could go here. I could go state. Yeah. Scroll down here. Orange County. Okay. There we go. Okay, Orange County, Virginia, as a whole, you got a 6-month STR of 127, average DOM of 213, active 57, 6-month is 44, 1-year STR of 263. So that's really good. The Gini is a 52. So the lower the number, the more homogenous the market is. You're at a 52, so which means it's not homogenous like at all.
Got it. What's Genie, by the way?
That's just their like LIA Land Insights internal thing. I don't know. I don't actually know what the acronym means, but
yeah. Gotcha. Is it like the variance, like between price per acre, or?
Yeah, it's the variance price per acre. Yeah, so the tighter it is, the lower the Gini score, the more homogenous it is.
Gotcha.
So this zip code 22701 is like a 56 Gini versus here I could do this. I could do based on Gini, so like a 6-month Gini. So let's see, hotter. Yeah, see the Gini is 0.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So it like shows you through colors too if it's cold or hot.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So like I think for Gini it's opposite. So like if it's yellow, the Gini is lower. Yeah. See Gini 1 year in this county is 2.75. That means this county almost everything's probably the same. But there's only been. It's hard to get that data because there's only 3 solds, and all 3 solds could have been like a subdivision somebody did. So all of them sold exactly the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the bigger the data set you have, the more, like, the better your pricing is going to be. The better you're going to find if it's homogenous, all that stuff, right? So yeah, I mean, this is something you could do completely, but you don't have to have Land Insights to do this, right? It just makes it easier.
Yeah.
That's all it really does. Is like it speeds up the process. So if I'm looking for a homogenous market, I could just scroll over this and say, okay, my Gini is 42. My Gini over here is 40. My Gini over on this one is, yeah. So you could just like zoom in real quick and just see it. So, and you could filter for it too. Say, I only want to see Genis that are, 5 and above or 5 and below or 10 and below. Right. So, let's see. Gini. There we go. So it's highest Genis. So of the zips, so these are all like 10s and stuff like that. 10 is going to be a relatively like a good low Gini, which means it's probably going to be really homogenous. 10 and below. So like stuff like that would be great, if you're looking in those areas. But then again, it depends on how many sales and all that stuff. So there's a lot of little contributing factors. So, but overall, I mean, I will say Orange County looks nice. I would just go more granular with it.
Gotcha.
For sure. Any other ones you want me to look at real quick while I got you?
Well, before we look at another one, so with Orange County, it's the Washington DC traffic just growth, so that's why it's kind of getting hot. But then HOAs, become prevalent as well. So how do you deal with HOAs? Like, do you not buy them, or do you still buy them if it's at a good price? Or
no, there's nothing wrong with HOAs, right? All an HOA does is they're just trying to maintain some quality aspects to a parcel, right? I get some people like, oh, I'll never buy in an HOA, right? But you know what? At the end of the day, like that doesn't really matter, right? Buying in an HOA could be a good thing because if you're in an HOA, it might have rules that say you can only do stick-built houses. They can only do this. They can only do that, right? So you're not going to buy a 10-acre parcel, let's say, and your plan is to build a 3,500 square foot beautiful, colonial style home on it, and the guy next door to you buys the same 10-acre parcel for the same price, but he puts a 1982 double wide on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the HOA would have some rules and says, hey, you can only do stick built over 1,500 square foot.
Right.
So, Yeah, there is a smaller buyer pool maybe for the stick built. I mean, for the HOAs. But at the end of the day, that client's going to be a higher quality client because they're looking for a specific type of asset, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have no problem buying an HOA. I think it's a good thing. Certain areas, you just got to look at the HOA. All right, there's one, Oconee, South Carolina, that if you buy in the HOA, there's a transfer fee of $40,000. Yeah,
It's crazy.
crazy,
Mm.
absolutely insane.
That should be illegal, no?
That should be illegal, right? That's crazy. So it's like knowing the HOA and looking at the deal. That's what you got to know. Like, got to know. So,
Mm-hmm.
we had one that we did over there that was right outside of the HOA. So like, you're in the subdivision, but you weren't in the HOA. So you weren't governed by the exact same rules. But a lot of people, that actually limits the buyer pool because people are scared to buy because they didn't want to pay that. So they're like, oh no, I don't want any Oconee HOAs because of that. Even though we weren't in it, we were just not getting brought up because we were in it without the fees though. So you gotta be careful with that. But no, there's nothing wrong with HOAs. Absolutely not. Especially if you're in Texas, you're in HOA country. Everything's an HOA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like unless you're in super rural Texas, like everything that's in a major metro
Mm-hmm.
or right outside of it is going to be an HOA.
Do you like sometimes call them and just get a feel of how friendly they are, or
Yeah, you
if
can
they
just Google
charge
them.
out there?
You could Google it too, like just find out. I don't
Mhm.
really do anything until the lead comes in.
Yeah.
Like, I'll still mail it, but when the lead comes in, and once it comes in, and I look and I'm like, okay, let's see what this HOA is and what it pertains to. Like, okay, great. If it's like $40 a month, $50 a month, like it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
If their CCNRs are like super tight and stuff like that, their governance and restrictions and all that stuff are super tight, you might be a little more hesitant.
Mm-hmm.
It does limit your buyer pool. But all you got to do is just look back at past sales, how fast stuff is moving.
Gotcha.
It's pretty much it. Like cars, like car sales. If you know the black VWs sell more than the white ones, well, you just go buy more of the white one. You go buy more black ones, right?
Right.
Same stuff. It's exactly that. If you look and you're like, okay, in this subdivision, it sells in less than 30 days. Okay, great. Then I'll buy it. But if it's taken like 200 days, then you don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
So you might pass on it or just offer a super low ball price or pitch a DC, like a double close on it,
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So, yeah. But yeah, no, that's it. There's nothing wrong with them. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's step by step.
Mhm.
I have to, first really, select a market that feels right because, from everything you guys are saying and from what I know, just in other real estate space, market selection is extremely important.
Mhm.
Once you select your market and you have the right numbers, and then you can double down on it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Once you know, like, especially if you've done a deal in the area, then you're more positive about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can do more deals like that. But honestly, I would skinny down to zip codes. You'll find a little bit better, more homogeneous pricing by that. And then look for how fast things are going pending.
Are you guys like experiencing like slower market during this winter, like election year?
It's different in different areas, right? Some markets it's fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. But other areas it is slow. Like I have a deal in what the hell county is that, Georgia? Coweta County, Georgia, that I've owned for 8 months now,
Mm-hmm.
hasn't sold. I have another deal in Harnett County, North Carolina, that I had just relisted it. It's been 8 months. So there's just certain little slowdowns, right?
Mm-hmm.
This happens. And then there's other deals that, same exact time frame. I listed a deal and it went pending like in 7 days. So it's all market dependent and what buyers are in the area. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
gotcha. So like from like on average, like your buyers, do they get financing for these properties? Do they pay cash? Like
mixed bag. Yeah, mixed bag. I'd say like 50% financing is pretty
Mhm.
average. Like 50% financing, 50% cash. Um, each deal is going to be different, right? I do prefer a cash offer. Like if somebody offers me 85K cash for a lot, and we have it listed for 95, and somebody offers me 90K cash, 90K financed, I'm going to take the cash offer all day because it's like guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
That's just how it is, right?
Gotcha.
So you just hope that somebody comes in with a cash offer, maybe it's the same or better, but it does also, like, when somebody comes in with 85 cash and a 90K seller, a 90K financed offer, it's like, okay, well, I could use that as a bargaining piece to get the cash offer up a little bit. Go
Right.
for like the 87.5, split the difference kind of thing. So
What kind of financing is it generally?
they
Are you?
get ag land financing. Typically, like they'll go in and get like 30% down financing. It's like 10%, 8 to 10% interest rates and stuff like that. We've had a couple of people ask for seller finance, stuff like that. We'll do seller finance sometimes, but I always tell them they got to come with the big down payment.
Yeah.
Like 30% or more. Sometimes
Right.
50% depending on the deal.
Yeah.
Because I want to cover my cost basis on a
Yeah.
deal, at least 75% of my cost basis
Gotcha.
before I'll say yes to seller financing.
So if you're unable to move a property for whatever reason, then you could sell or finance it and move it that way if you got like a good
Sure.
down payment on it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I could put it on seller finance, sell it that way.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't hurt to do that. Like I have the one that it's in Coweta that they said they want to do seller finance. I said that's fine, but I need 30% down.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, no, we only want to put like it's listed for 92. They only
Mm-hmm.
want to put like $5,000 down as a down payment. I was like, no way. Like
Yeah.
that's
No.
5%. I
Right.
said I need 15% or more, like 15% my absolute minimum. And even
Right.
then, 15%, I then have to go sell that note to recapture funds to go pay back my lender. I'd be
Mm-hmm.
breaking even. So I'd rather sit on the market for another month.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah. Do you have any holding costs, like on average, on your deals when you're holding them? Like
um,
HOA, you're probably paying something, but
if you have an HOA, you're paying a couple bucks. But typically, if taxes, if you're holding it, stuff like that, taxes are negligible. It's not really that much. I get the tax bill at the end of the year. That's pretty much all.
mm-hmm.
And I don't pay my lenders a holding cost, like a monthly fee.
Mm-hmm.
They just get paid at the end. So they just get at the end. They'll get their interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just how I do. But if you're using like a funder inside LIA, somebody like that, they're gonna basically take over everything. They'll take over like the note and everything like that. So at that point, you don't have to worry about finance like monthly payments or anything like that. They know they're getting paid at the end. That's all.
Gotcha. So regarding like JV funding, so when you do get a deal,
Mhm.
what is the due diligence period that you put on the contract? So you would put that, and then you would get a funder, right? In the meantime, I assume.
Yeah, so you would get that, and then you would get a funder. So once you have a property under contract, then you would get a funder. I typically like my contract says, closing date is like it's open ended, it's ASAP, right, as soon as possible. And then I put due diligence period up to 90 days, right, because it allows me time to get stuff done.
Yeah.
But depending on the seller, they might say, well, I want 45 days or 30 days. And
Yeah.
if it's a
Like the
good
guy
deal,
last night, I was
yeah,
watching you, and it's
yeah,
like, well, I don't want no 90 days or something
yeah.
like that, right?
Yeah, so no problem. I'll change that. I have no problem not doing 90 days. That's fine. It's just like I like having that extra time because it gives me a little bit of room to, do my due diligence, and
Right.
sometimes title takes a little bit longer than it should. So it just gives me a way to kind of like buy a little time. That's all. So I will put like 90 days, but I'll reiterate to the sellers like, hey, look, the goal is to close this quicker. But if need be, we have everything set up that it could take a little bit longer. So
Gotcha.
we're not trying to drag it out, but sometimes title gets messy and title gets in the way. It's not our fault.
Right.
So
Right. Exactly.
yeah.
So when you are looking for a JV funder, what are like some green lights you look for or green flags?
I like a lender that's gonna come in with a good split. Like the ones that come in and say like in a 1 month it goes up from 20% to like 30%, like no deal is ever exiting on the back end in 1 month, like soup to nuts. It never happens, you know? So like they should be giving you a little bit of leg room, like for the first like month, like 2 months, 3 months. Like it should be at least 60 days, 90 days before the first interest kick in, like 20%, then it goes to like 30%, something like that. If lenders are saying, 50% flat right out the gate, no, don't do that. There's better lenders out there. You don't want to work with people that are stealing half the deal right in the upfront.
Yeah.
Like that's just being greedy,
Yeah.
I think 30% of a deal, if they're funding it, taking on risk, I think that's perfectly fine. It's just when you get like 40, 50%, that's just predatory.
Right.
If that was a housing deal, like if that was a house, that would actually be predatory lending. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends, who
Yeah.
you're working with. So, yeah, very good stuff.
Yeah.
I had a lender just contact me. I have a mobile home for sale, and
Okay.
I have him on his phone. On the phone, he was actually helping the buyer, so he was going to give him a note. It's like I told him, yeah, we had to winterize the home. Oh no, the house was winterized. I'm going to get an inspection on it. I'm going to get this on. I'm going to get that on it. So just it felt like he was trying to increase the price of the home so he could get more payments out of the buyer. I just got that vibe. And some lenders are great. They're fair. They want you to win. You
Yeah.
kind of win too, but you gotta kind of watch out for the predatory stuff.
A lot of predatory lending. We do. We used to do a lot of house wraps, and there's a lot of predatory lending in that. So any wrap I do with the houses, I do RMLOs. So basically, it's like if you know what it is, if you don't know what it is, it's basically like a loan officer will approve your seller finance person to go in there, and they're looking at the loan itself and making sure I'm not creating a predatory loan, like crazy stuff. So they're going to make sure, okay, how much debt, like how much of this, how much of that, like how much interest rate are you charging? You can't charge X amount over. I think it's like every state's different, but like Texas, I did a lot of them in Texas, you can't charge over. I think it's like 5 points above basis. So basis is like 5. You can't charge more than 10%.
Yeah.
And if you do, that's like predatory. So, stuff like that. So you got to be careful. But then you see in this world, people are charging like 30%, 20%. It's like, dude, what?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So,
yeah, good stuff. When you're buying rural rec land, right? Sometimes there's like a little city right in the middle of it. Do you
sure.
ever like buy in those cities as well, or do you just try to stay
Yeah.
out of it?
No, if there's activity, I'm buying. That's basically, I don't say like, oh, no, there's a city here, I'm not buying there. No, I always look at it, says, okay, well, there's activity in this area. Well, I want to work in that area because of the activity. So if there's land for sale and sold and all that stuff, then great. Let's
But
work.
do you like check if the only exit there was going to be infill? Like you just want to make sure the numbers make sense, and then you still get.
If it's only infill, like I'm still fine with doing the deal, right? You can still do the deal. You can still make money on an infill lot. It's just when you do them, you have to understand that your due diligence is going to be a little bit different. You're going to be doing like perk tests, things like that, because your only exit is for that. But man, you could buy a deal for 30K and sell it for 60 all day long, as long as you know it perks. So it's like, why not just do them?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. And I know a lot of people that's all they do. They just do infill and they crush it,
Right.
So it's just a
Good
matter of,
experience.
doing your due diligence, making sure it's a good lot. One thing I will say is like I've done a couple lots that were in subdivisions, and they were like one of only like 5 or 6 lots that weren't built out. And it's like, okay, well, why? All right, there's something going on. There's a reason why it wasn't built out.
Right.
Turns out it doesn't perk, flood zone, whatever the case may be. That's usually why. So, sorry, late night. Oh man.
Yeah, from that battle yesterday.
Yeah, late night and then early morning. what happens.
Yeah. When
Um,
you're marketing to like a specific area, let's say you're like, sending mailers, at one point do you say, okay, this market or this zip code is not good, let me move on? What are like some metrics you look at?
the main thing I look at is how long it takes stuff to sell. If it's taking like 240 days for every single lot to sell, I don't want it.
Hmm.
Right. I don't really care necessarily if I'm in like a really tight market, like a smaller market, and I see at least one sale in the past year. If it's super tiny, I'm okay with that. Like as long as I got one good solid comp to go off of, I would still market to something like that. If it's a smaller area, it's just
Hmm.
got to be like a good solid comp. Like I wouldn't trust it fully if it was like one bad comp in like a whole county. But if it was in like a really small area, a really small zip or something like that, I'd be okay with that. Um, red flags are usually like um, it's that stuff. If yeah, days on market, it's the main things. If there's a ton of lots for sale, I don't want to work in an area there's a lot for sale. Right?
Hmm.
If you have way too much activity, it's like where do you fit into the mix?
Right, it's too saturated, like Florida and
Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, but well, my question was like, let's say you have all this data, but you're marketing to it and you're not getting any leads, or you are getting leads, but they're really not deals. So at what point do you say, okay, I'm going to move on because this market is just nobody wants to sell to investors?
Yeah, it's different. I mean, if I mail to it once and I get zero leads, okay, I got to question that. Why? Was it me or was it them? If I mail to it twice and I get zero leads, all right, it's probably something you know, maybe they're saturated with investors, right?
Hmm.
You don't want to go in the hottest of the hot markets because that's what happens to you, right?
Right.
You get killed. The people that do the best there are the ones that have unlimited marketing budgets and they
Hmm.
could just blast mail out there consistently, every month. So
Hmm.
that's how they end up getting leads over there. Now, if you're in like a market that's like not the great, not I don't want to say not the greatest sell through rates or anything like that, but like decent sell through rates, but not like amazing, you're gonna do better. If there's a mid amount of activity, like a couple for sale, all that stuff, like a couple lots for sale and all that stuff, then you're fine. Like as long as there's some activity, that's all you need to see. So,
Gotcha.
yep.
So you would just market it like maybe once or twice, a couple times, see if you're not really getting anything out of it, then move on
Yeah,
to something else.
exactly. Market once, twice, maybe like first time I do this, second time I change my marketing,
Hmm.
maybe my pricing, or I change my change my marketing, change my offer. Maybe I'll change the type of thing I send. Maybe I'll send like a neutral letter if
Yeah.
it's like really an area I want to be in. So it just kind of depends on that. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Awesome,
Cool,
man.
man. Um, what else we got? I gotta pop off at 3:30. I gotta call another call.
Okay, we got 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, I had my questions listed and I went through them pretty much. I'm sure
Nice.
I'm going to have more as time goes on, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah, always grab another call, man. We could always chat about it again. I'd love to,
Yeah,
man. I'd love to see your progress and everything that goes.
yeah,
If you want next time, pull some markets together, we could hop on here and pull some data for you.
yeah, absolutely. I'll
Yeah,
do.
that'd be awesome. So yeah, try to do that, and then next time we talk, we could have some data pulled, and we'll price it together and see how it goes.
Okay,
So
excellent. Yeah,
awesome, man. Dude, thanks for coming and hang out. Appreciate
yeah,
it.
of
Yeah,
course, man. All right, you have a blessed day.
you too, brother. Appreciate you. Thanks. Have a good one all.